Settings is the longest scroll in VeriSanction, but it's organized in a way that's easy to navigate. 2 columns. The left column is your experience and your data. The right column is your provider and your support tools. And that's it. Dark mode is the default. It's easier on long compliance sessions and has an aesthetic that most teams like. You can flip to light mode if you prefer. Some elements may need a quick restart to repaint fully. Interface scale gives you 4 named options: small at 90%, normal at 100%, large at 110%, and extra large at 125%. It's useful on a 4K monitor where the default looks tiny or for accessibility. Compact mode toggles next to it. The preference saves today, but the full layout treatment is on the near-term roadmap. When you toggle it, an info dialog reminds you to restart for the changes to take effect. Now, the monitoring card is where you set your rescreen cadences. There are 2 interval dropdowns the user can change. Default interval applies to every individual on the monitoring queue who isn't flagged as high risk. Options run from every 3 months up to every 24 months, with 10 months as the standard default. High risk interval applies to flagged individuals. Options are every month, every 3 months, or every 6 months, with 3 months as the default. Your written compliance policy probably uses 3 tiers: low, standard, and high. Now, here's how that maps to the 2 dropdowns. Use default interval for both your low risk and your standard risk customers, choosing the value that fits the larger group. Now, many firms set default interval to 10 months for retail and adjust on a per customer basis from the individual's profile. Use high risk interval for politically exposed persons, customers in sanctioned jurisdictions, and high risk business types. Most firms set this to 3 months or tighter. Background polling controls how often the service wakes up to look for due rescreens or upstream list changes: every hour, 2, 4, or 8 hours. 4 hours is the default and covers nearly every workload. Below that, 3 toggles. Sync on launch refreshes provider state when you open up the app. System tray keeps the app alive after you close the window. Start with system launches it at login. Now, the last 2 are essential if you want monitoring to run continuously. The app has to be alive to do scheduled checks. Now, notifications are simple. Desktop notifications pop up over your other apps when a high severity event happens: a hit on a monitored individual, budget threshold breach. Email notifications are wired in the interface, though I'll be honest, the delivery integration is partial in the current build, with full email delivery on the near-term roadmap. Now, sound alerts are a quiet chime for fans of audio feedback. And 2 things to know about retention. 1 is fixed at 5 years. That's not a tuning knob, it's the Bank Secrecy Act regulatory floor, the BSA floor. We service the numbers so that you know what you're keeping, but we don't let you go below it. Now, 2, the auto prune toggle controls whether records are removed after they cross the 5-year line. If you're in a heavier compliance regime, leave it off and archive instead. Now, this is where you set the database path. If you want multiple compliance officers sharing one VeriSanction instance, point the path at a shared network drive. The app handles file locking automatically. That's what the lockout timeout field is for. And the default 30 seconds covers nearly every healthy network. And if a previous session crashed and left a lock behind, the admin-only release lock button will clear it. Now, use it carefully only when you're certain that no one is actively writing. Now, backup is 1 click. The file is named with a timestamp, so multiple backups never overwrite each other. Pick a backup location somewhere other than the machine running VeriSanction, an external drive, NAS, a cloud sync folder. Restore it just as simple. Close the app, click restore, choose the file, confirm. Now, the app keeps pre-store safety copy automatically, so even your rollback has a rollback. Now, 2 provider options. VeriSanction Data is our turnkey sanctions data source. 3 free trial credits, no separate vendor account. Plaid is for firms already using Plaid's watchlist screening product. Switch in this dropdown. The active client is reset, so your very next screening uses the new provider from the first call. Now, when VeriSanction Data is set up, you see the operational panel, and 3 things to notice. Top right, connected in green. If you've moved machines or just reinstalled and the key needs to be recovered, you'll see key recovery required, instead with a recover button. We'll come back to that. Now, your tenant API key is shown masked. Hit show to reveal it for a moment, copy to clipboard, or paste a new one, and save. And the screening scope panel shows all 10 built-in collections. The U.S. Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, Specially Designated Nationals List, the OFAC Consolidated List, the U.S. Bureau of Industry and Security Denied Persons List, the European Union Financial Sanctions List, United Nations Security Council Sanctions, United Kingdom His Majesty's Treasury Sanctions, Canada's Special Economic Measures Act List, Australia's Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade List, Japan's Ministry of Finance List, and Switzerland's State Secretariat for Economic Affairs List. Dataset checkboxes let you narrow further if needed. Now, this is the most important thing in the module. Set a recovery PIN. 4 digits, it takes 10 seconds, and here's why. Your API key is encrypted at rest using a key derived from your machine's host names. So if someone copies your database file off the box, they can't decrypt the key. But if you reinstall, change machines, or rebuild your laptop, the hostname-based encryption can no longer decrypt either. And that's when you'll see key recovery required. The recovery PIN stores a second encrypted copy of the key using an industry-standard key derivation function PBK-DF2 with HMA-C and SHA-256 run for 600,000 iterations. That's portable across machines. And to recover, click Recover, enter the 4-digit PIN, and the key restores. For Plaid users, environment selector, client ID, secret, and your monitoring program ID. Click Save Credentials, then Test Connection. The success line tells you everything. Connection, program, you're good. Now, we will cover Plaid-specific troubleshooting in Module 11, so stay tuned for that. At the bottom of Settings, you'll find Support and About. The session ID is what you give the support team if you call in. Export log downloads, your session log as text or JSON, and Contact Support opens your email client with a pre-built message containing your version, OS, session ID, and the path to your log. And finally, the About card has your version, your keyboard shortcut reference, and links to the terms of service and the due diligence questionnaire, and the third-party service provider, the DDQ and TPSP package. We'll see you in the next module.